All right. Hello. This is Benny. So, what? This is really weird, and I really think you. It's nice to hear, but remember the video I talked about the other day when I found the girl that in her sleep, in her dream, God took her to heaven. So it wasn't a dream. That's what happened, or it was a dream. I don't know how it worked. Well, now I keep the that game, the 5 degrees of bacon, and how people can do that on YouTube in the suggested feed just by thumbnails. They can get to any video they want to by that. Um, this rains, just, dude. I can't. Alexa, play native Indian music. Alexa, native Indian music. Playing Native American I just recorded a video about CBD meditation and stuff. That's why I was playing that. Rain really does mess with you. It's crazy. I'm sorry. There you go. Not rain messes with your brain. I made a CBD talking about meditation, how it calms you down, enables you to actually quiet this, get rid of all the timidness, the angriness, so you can focus more on nothing. So what I'm trying to talk about is cultural cultural here. Let me. I can't get my pencils out. See, culture. You know culture. CULTURE. I'm spelling it CURT. Wait, CURTURAL. Cult cultural. I don't know if I can even say it. But even just then, that's a cultural thing. So there's that. Cultural languages, surrounding languages, invisible languages, racial languages, physical languages, literal body language. There's so many languages. Whenever I put my head down, I'm turning my eyes off, and I'm turning this on. I don't know how that works, what that means. That's also why I'm recording this now, because when I look back at this and I am trying to like understand what I was then to compare to you 20 years from now, Benny, you fucking legend. Um, I'm gonna see that because I know that's a thing. I know me looking down, there's something I can figure out about myself because I know people that when they talk, they're not able to do it. They'll be talking and be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I don't think you should be doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to understand myself more by recording myself now. So this is an all around project because I'm recording my every single day growth. Teaching you something every single day, and as I learn, it's just infinite. So I have two infinite loopholes to success that I've created. One's a business one, one's a psychology one. So cultural languages, that was perfect. Silent languages, body languages, physical languages, invisible languages. There's so many. So I'm not a racist. I did not create the races. I have been alive for almost 23 years, 22 right now, almost 23 in about 2 weeks, I think. And I have observed my surroundings. Everything I'm about to say is observations and theories and opinions that I've created. Please don't hate me. But black people, I'm joking. I've been planning that all day, and I'm sorry. Okay, so it's I'm gonna go real hard on this one right here. So I live in a town that most of the life that I have lived here, black people have just not been here. My schooling system in from zero grade to eighth grade, one black person and less than six Mexicans and a Filipino and an Asian. Like it was, and then white, just all white. All the way in the ninth grade, we added one or a couple more to my town, and his family was scared to move here because they heard of the racist past. And it's getting more and more diverse now. But if you and the one black student that was there was more white, he is physically the black male, but he is eternally the macaroni and cheese football loving country white boy. That's because that's the language he learned. He learned our language. He learned us. He learned how to talk like us. But then if you go to a more black community, I hate that I'm scared of. What is this? This is okay to talk about, right? I'm not bad. I know I'm not, but I don't know if you know that I'm not. I'm not. I'm observations. I didn't create any. I'm just saying. Um, it's different because black people act different than white people. Mexicans act different than all the other ones. It is legal for me to say this, okay? Benny, you got this. So, say you go to a white town with all white employees at the McDonald's. You are a black person and you go to this McDonald's. You are more keen to have these white conversations than you would your black conversations. You have, I, you, black people have black topics to discuss. White people have white topics to discuss. Mexicans have Mexican topics to discuss. Each race, each generation.
So there's nobody here in this room that doesn't walk in two different worlds, sometimes even three.
Alexa, next. Alexa, volume up 2. You can categorize so many different groups within groups. You can take one white middle school. You can take out, for mine it was 6th, 7th, 8th grade. You can narrow down to the 7th grade. That's a group. That's 7th grade. Then in that grade, there are like 3 or 4 different ages. Each age is going to talk to each other differently than they would someone their age. So if you're all 7th graders, but that's a 12-year-old 7th grader and that's a 13-year-old 7th grade, I don't know what grades that would be, ages. I'll go to 9th grade because I was 11 when everyone else was like 13, some 14, most 12 and 13. But there's a slight dialogue difference. Even though you're all the same, you're all 9th graders, you're all freshmen. I'm an 11-year-old freshman, you're a 12-year-old freshman. We have a slight difference because you were born in a year when your cartoons were slightly different. You didn't grow up on the same cartoons that I grew up on, so we grew up on the same cartoons, but at different times and different growing periods. So what you saw in SpongeBob, I saw the year after. You saw it. We saw it at the same time. I saw SpongeBob when you saw it. You saw it when you were 2, and I saw it when I was 1. So when I was 1, I saw this episode, and it had a way different impact on me than it did when you first saw it. And then each time I saw it, and even then, so there's categories in there. So you got the ages, but then you have the categories of the country kids, the nerdy kids, the rapper kids, the gothy kids, the gothy emo, subculturally banned emo. There's different groups of emos. There's different groups of jocks. There's jock, and then there's these jocks, these jocks, these jocks, these jocks. These are jocks because they're all poor and they kind of bond over that. Then these jocks are rich, but then these hang out because they're best friends, but they hang out less than they hang out less personally than the ones they do. But yeah, there's different categories within each category. So every category keeps getting more and more narrowed down because they can keep going down to a shared circled past. So I hope this understands makes your sense. So I'll explain it. You naturally talk to people differently based off of what you know about them and how much it corresponds to you. There are frequencies. I use the word vibration. Like I this is how I think. I walk up to someone and I'm like, all right, we're not in the same vibration. How do I talk to them? And I try to figure it out because you know how you'll be talking to someone and you have no idea if they understand what you're trying to tell them. That person's not on your frequency, not on your vibration. I like to think I hate it because I don't want people to think negatively about it. But I what I say is say I see myself here. I rarely see anybody here with me. It's really hard to get people here with me. I get a lot of people where I'm here and they're here in this area where they can talk to me and I can talk to them and we can goof and joke and actually kind of bond. But then there's some people here working. There's like personal bonds where like I actually feel inclined to know about their personal life other than just work their work, haha, and like, oh, I had some bad shit going on, oh man, haha. But then like to some people that are here and then I can be like, so there's that. And then there's people because I was very when what I say is used to say and I still say it in here. I don't say it out loud anymore because I can't back it up like I used to spiritually. But what I am trying to say is that everyone is at the same time the smartest person in the world and at the same time the dumbest person in the world. And it's so real and it's crazy. I will see people where I see myself here and I see them here because on a vibration I operate better than them. Say, you know how your managers, like the ones that to you are geniuses, like real people, not these sheeples. The real managers, they will say we hear because they're on a mindset that you're not even on because you're on a mindset of going to work chilling so you can go home and focus on shit. Their shit is here. So they're constantly on they're not thinking the same as you. You're thinking as an employee, they're thinking as a manager. They're like, all right, I get this done, I have to get this done, I have to get this done. This person do this, I have to make that person do that, and that person do that, and then they tell you to do something, and you go, oh, okay, I'll do it, and then you just kind of go, oh, all I gotta do is this thing right here, and then they're like, I gotta do this and this and this and this and this and this. Hey, can you do that? Can you do that? Can you do that? I have to make sure that person did that and that and that and that and that. While they're doing all this, you're like doing the simple monthly task that I got asked to do, and I'm gonna make it last as long as possible. Oh, I sure hope these fuckers fucking go faster. Oh my god, I have to get this done. Oh my god, my mom's in town. So their mindset's different. That's the vibration, and I have way more that I feel and believe about predetermined things, that we're born into this life and we're supposed to figure out what we're supposed to do with the powers that we have, because we're not drags to society, we're not a waste of space, we are superheroes. But you gotta let go of that kid, because that kid in you, that is you. But you're trying to be that. You're still. You never. I don't know if you have, but a lot of you, I believe, never had that switch where you go from. But I don't. But I. You. And to the Uncle Iroh, where you go, I don't know what to say. Wait, I don't know what to say. What it would be is just nothing. You just observe instead of want. You are instead of need. And so, real quick, everything I learn, I'm trying my best to do it through God. Because if so many people, I'm talking about the Christian God, if so many people have these crazy experiences that I hear about, the testimonies, I was just chilling and then I was on the floor flowing with the love of God, tearing my cries out, then it's gotta be there. There's something there. And the more I look into it, the more I understand, but the more I understand, the more you don't understand. You know how that works. And what I look in, and then everything, I try to challenge everything versus the Christian, versus the science, versus the whatever. And Christianity has the answer for everything. And it always, I don't know what the point was at the beginning, but here you listen now. Everything ends up being, you just gotta keep making yourself better. Because we constantly have flaws, there's constantly struggles, and everything depends on your decision. Anxiety I'll make an episode about anxiety. I don't know when, because I'm gonna plan for it, because I really want to explain everything I've been thinking about, what I theorize with it. Anxiety. I watched a TED Talk. This guy was saying, it's like your crew. It's like you're on a pirate ship. You're the captain, and your crew's there. Your crew is like. Before I say that, it's like when you're laying in bed and you know the trash is coming in the morning and you want to sleep in. You're like, the trash. That right there, that's anxiety. It tells you what you have to worry about. That's why I mentioned the other day, I'm gonna make specific videos for dream journals, brain dumping videos, personal journals, daily task journals, stuff like that, like individual videos to actually explain what they do. But the anxiety, it tells you, it gives you it says, hello, this is what we gotta do, okay? And how you handle it, what you do with it, and I'm really trying to right now, and it's hard. You know it's hard. It's hard because you don't want to do what you're supposed to do. The Uncle Iroh switch you gotta make. Everyone, please watch Avatar: The Last Airbender and learn from every single character. Every single character has life-changing information, and it's a wonderful show. It is so good. But you need to that Uncle Iroh switch, that Christian desire to become Christ-like. You gotta make yourself better. The better you get, the happier you get. Because the better you get, the less problems you have. Because you're solving your problems. Anxiety is helping you solve the problems. You're thinking, oh man, I better do that before they get mad. You're not. It's so much more than doing it so they don't get mad. It's doing it because it's the answer. You don't sweep the floor before the DM comes in. You sweep the floor because you haven't slept in about 20 minutes. You just had a rush and there's freaking McMuffin crumbs everywhere. You do it because you're supposed to get rid of the crumbs, not because the boss is coming. You don't want to get in trouble. You gotta make that adult human tough loving decision to listen to your brain. Your brain's like, hey, this is gonna stress you the fuck out if you don't fucking take care of it. And you know what you say? If you do it, if you do what your brain tells you to do, don't always do it. There's demons in there. That's what that church video I'm listening to is saying, and I believe it's so real because you know how you've seen movies and stuff, right? There'll be a person just doing something, and then they'll do something bad. The brain told them to do something bad, so they listened, but it was a demon. Demon walked up in there and said, "Perfect opportunity to sin. Do it right now. Take it." But anxiety tells you what you're gonna stress out about. If you have God, if you believe in that God, pretend, visualize, imaginize that God is the one in your brain, and he's like, hey, you should probably take care of that trash. Pretend that the almighty Lord is talking to you. If you visualize it like that, you'll listen and be like, oh, okay. And then so much more will happen to you. It's so simple and profound. Just do it, you know? Just look in there and you say, okay, I'll do that. And then before you commit to it, think to the future. Think about the future version of you. Do you think that thing that you're neglecting to do will cross your mind and think, oh man, or bring you down or something, cause more to stress and worry? Look in the future and see if that's going to affect you. Take care of it now. I saw a video years ago how to kind of just be better at life. If there's a task that takes 5 minutes, just do it. Because what are those 5 minutes going to be used for? Fucking nothing, right? What are you going to do? Sit down, watch TV for 16 hours? But you can't clean the dishes for 5 minutes. What a fool. So anxiety. Okay, so I'm so damn it. I didn't mean to get off about anxiety. But you learned something, and you know I have a lot to talk about. So that means I have 10 minutes to talk about cultural languages and silent languages. I guess there'll be a part 2 to this. Look at my eyes. So, silent languages. So, I'm gonna try to get in there. So you know how, like, you go to work. There's a boss and there's a you, or you and a coworker. So I'll talk about my friends at McDonald's. So me and Levi will be working, right? And I'm always trying to be serious about the job because I I put my responsibility of that job in my heart. And I was like, I'll be trying to talk work. I'm like, hey, dishes, and he'll be like, ain't nothing but the muffin man. And I'm like, but who's doing the dishes? He was like, $5. You want to go to the store with me? And I'll be like, what the dude? Just tell me. And then I'll be like, all right, let's get it, because that we had an invisible friend language. We'll be like, okay, we'll figure it out later. He's annoying. Other coworkers, we can have silly conversations while working, but then get the job done together because we are on that same page where we're working together. I'll expand. You are working, and your boss and you are talking, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to take care of that, muffin man." And you'll be like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Buh. And he'll be like, "Oh, ha ha ha." And that conversation, you had this invisible language where he's you know exactly what to do because he knows that you know what to do, so you don't have to have that verbal exchange because everything that he's formed about you, oh shit, it's not there, everything he's formed about you in the past is stuck in his brain for you. That makes no sense, and I'm so sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. Best day ever. So, you know what? I'm gonna go back to anxiety. No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm gonna cut it short. So, what I'm gonna explain in the next one is about yeah, I'll end this here. I'm so sorry. You don't get to know about my invisible language and my cultural languages just yet. But stay tuned, because this picture here, I'm going to explain this. If you've ever wondered what any of these are, I'm about to explain it to you. It's how. So, I'm going to read off the example sentence so far. Do you remember how? So my theory is the whole brain, this is everything you've ever learned. Learning is memory. You learn it and then you memorize it because it's there, and you remember it later because you learned it. So I have each design here, okay? And I have it with do you remember? And I have it set as do you, because do you remember? That is going to trigger the whole brain. That's what I believe. It's going to trigger this whole brain. Do you remember? Let me see if I do. Okay? And then you say, all of these are triggered by do you remember? Have that like this. And then it says how. So this one, do you remember how? How? Oh, you can't see. Sorry. How, how, and how. So it's gonna be like 3/4 of the brain is gonna remember. Do you remember how? Then if you say, do you remember when? Every part of your brain that has to do with a timely basis. Do you remember when you put the chicken in? Do you remember when Aunt Lucy did that? Do you remember when I did this? Do you remember why you did that? Do you remember why we put this here? Do you remember who that is? Each word is a trigger. So there's the who, why, what, when, where's. Those trigger each different part of the brain. Do you remember where we went? Do you remember why that, do you remember how that, do you remember who that, and that's kind of the basis of the cultural thing, because you can be talking to someone and say, yeah, I was finna go to, you're automatically on a chiller vibe. Then if you say, yeah, I was about to go to, yeah, I was finna go to, yeah, I was about to go to, two completely different sentences that mean the same thing, that change your perception of the person you're talking to. You're talking to a white guy and he says, yeah, me and her were about to go down to the store, is a way different person than, yeah, me and her were finna go to, is a way different person than, yeah, me and her were fixing to. Yet they're each, and what I think it is if you walk, pretend you're alone. You're walking through a mall and you need to talk to someone, and you have to get an answer really quick. So you're gonna look for the person who looks like they might know what you're talking about. Right then, you're looking for, you're I promise you, next time you're in public, look at people and try to try to think about them, see who they are. You'll and try to see if you can figure out who they are based off just the face. Try to figure out their personality. Compare that to their clothes. The clothes of pen, you can tell their personality on the clothes, on the hair, glasses, shoes, how they walk. And I was trying to do a sassy lady walk, but if you're in the mall and you need to talk to someone about fishing, you can tell who the fisher person is. If everyone there is in polos, if every single person in the store that you're going to is wearing polos and khakis, they all dress the same, you can point out the 5 people who love to fish, right? Right there, you've accessed a different language with that person. You know how when you talk to someone and they think you're stupid? That's what I was talking about earlier. Betty! Alright, I'm gonna cut this off. But you know how when you talk to someone and they think you're stupid or you think they're stupid? That's that language difference, right? You have to figure out the key words, the finna, the fixings, the hoppity scotch, the um Yankee, wanka, uh garage, the British words like kettle, but every single word triggers your brain. It makes